Hey there, everybody. Happy Thursday. So here's the question I want you to think about. What if algebra teachers are really pirates and they are using us to find X so they can find the treasure? I'm going to let you guys think about that one a little bit, and you can tell me if you think that algebra teachers are or are not pirates. So we're going to start in and we're going to review the problems from yesterday. So let's go to our first problem. So here we go with our first problem. We have three sets of numbers in parentheses with an exponent minus 2. We're going to follow PEMDAS. So PEMDAS say P comes first, so parentheses we need to do first. When we're looking at the order of what to do things in the parentheses, we're still going to follow the PEMDAS, P-E-M-D-A-S. So the first thing we're going to do is inside the parentheses, there are no more parentheses. Oops, I got to grab my pen here. So there are no more parentheses. The next thing we're going to look at, though, is exponents. There is an exponent in this problem. It is 8 squared. So on my calculator, I know that it's 8 times 8. 8 2 times, not 8 times 2, but 8 2 times is 64. I'm going to write 64 in place of the 8 squared. Minus 9. Now I still have all of these things that I still have to do inside the parentheses, so I'm going to make sure as I rewrite it that I'm including my parentheses. I've taken care of all the exponents that are inside of the parentheses. So now I'm ready to do my multiplication and division inside the parentheses. And that would be 3 times 9. So on my calculator, when I type in 3 times 9, I get 27. So I know 27 is going to be the answer. And I'm going to subtract 64 from it. I still need my parentheses though, because I have not solved everything inside of the parentheses. But I did complete all of my multiplication and division. The next step I'm going to do is addition and subtraction. 27 minus 64. Here I can use my calculator to help me figure that out. I'm going to type 27 minus 64. And it gives me a negative answer, a negative 37. Make sure to include that negative sign because negative 37 is very different than a negative or than a regular 37. So here's what I'm left with, negative 37 minus 2. I know the answer is going to be a negative 39, but if I wasn't quite sure, because a negative minus a negative, you're actually going to add the two numbers together. I would go like this on my calculator. I would say 37, and then I would use this plus minus button. It makes my 37 negative. Then I subtract 2. I hit minus 2, and I come up with a negative 39, which was the answer to that first problem. All right, so here we are on to our next problem that we had to solve. We have, again, 3 sets of numbers inside of parentheses and plus 7. So we're going to look at our order of operations, say we need to start with the parentheses, but inside those parentheses, we still have to follow the order of operations. So the first thing we're going to do inside those parentheses is take care of that 8 squared. From the previous problem, we know that 8 squared is the same thing as 64. But in case I forgot that little fact, I can go to my calculator, type in 8 times 8, because it's 8 2 times, and it tells me it's 64. Then I'm going to bring down the rest of my information. I'm going to subtract 4, and I'm going to multiply by 13. And I'm going to make sure I include my parentheses, plus 7, because I need to finish solving that stuff before I can add on my 7. I've taken care of my parentheses that were in, or my exponent that was inside the parentheses. My next step is to go on to multiplication and division. I do have a multiplication right here. I have 13 times 4. It's a bigger number. I don't quite know that off the top of my head, so I'm going to go 13 times 4, and I'm going to get 52. Minus 64. And I still need my parentheses, plus 7. I've finished my multiplication and division. Now I'm on to my addition and subtraction inside the parentheses. This one has 52 minus 64. So let's see if we can figure out the answer. 52 minus 64. That is a negative 12. Now, because I was able to solve that, I no longer need parentheses, plus 7. I'm still on addition and subtraction, because that's my last step here, is addition and subtraction. I have a negative 12 plus 7, so let's figure that out. It's kind of a push-pull. We'll see, it's a tug-of-war who's going to win. So we're going to do 12, and I'm going to use that plus minus button. So it makes it a negative 12 plus 7. And my answer is a negative 5. So here we are with our third problem from yesterday. Remember, write down each step. And make sure to write down the P, E, the MD, the A, the S, because that's going to help you keep track. And as we write down each step, go through each part of PEMDAS, we're going to get the right answer if we take the time to do the steps. So we're going to start with our P, which is parentheses. We have 2 sets of them. I have 2 plus 3. I know that equals 5. So I'm going to write in my 5. I'm going to bring down my squared because I haven't solved that yet. I only solved the 3 plus, or the 2 plus 3. I'm going to add, bring my add down. And now I have 24 divided by 2. I know the answer to that is 2. But if you're not sure, again, use your calculator. Your calculator is going to give you the answer. 24 divided by 2 is, oh, I did that wrong. I divided by the answer. 24 divided by 12 is 2. So now we've got a problem. We're getting closer to solving. We took care of our parentheses. We got to look and see, do we have any exponents? We do. We have 5 squared. So 5 to the second power is the same thing as 5 times 5. 5 times 5, and that's 25. 25 plus 2. I've taken care of my exponents. Now, is there any multiplication division? Nope. No multiplication division, but I do have some addition. So 25 plus 2, we know is 27. And that was our answer for that problem. All right, so let's take a look here at our next problem. This would have been our 4th problem on our homework from yesterday. We're going to follow those steps and go through them. I want you to check your homework and compare it to this video, slow it down. You can see how you did the steps and where you may have made a mistake. But we're starting with our parentheses. We have P, and it's 28 minus 4. We know that that is 24. Since I solved it, I no longer need parentheses. And I don't see any other sets of parentheses, so I'm going to mark that off. The next thing I'm going to solve is my exponents, my E. I have 3 squared. 3 squared is the same thing as 3 times 3, which is 9. And I'm going to bring down the rest of the information. So now I've got everything. I've pulled down the parts I didn't do. I changed the 3 squared to my 9. and I no longer have any exponents. My next step is multiplication division. I do happen to have a division problem here. I have 24 divided by 12. Well, I know that answer is 2. Again, if we don't remember, use your calculator. Go 24 divided by 12. The answer is 2. I'm going to bring down my minus sign, then I'm going to bring down my 9. I have no more multiplication or division, only addition, subtraction left. In this case, it's subtraction. I have 2 minus 9. I know the answer is a -7. But if we're uncertain, we're going to go ahead and just go 2 minus 9, and the calculator is going to do all the hard work. It's going to give us the answer of a -7. So take the time, follow the steps, and it's not as hard as it might look. So here's our last homework problem from yesterday. We're going to kind of run through this one together. I'm going to look at my parentheses. P is my first thing. In parentheses here, I have 13 plus 6. Oops, I lost my pen. We have 13. Why is that not working? All right, so we're going to start here with our 13 plus 6 because that's what we have in parentheses. Now 13 plus 6, use your calculator. Make sure that you get the correct number. 13 plus 6 is 19. So I'm going to write that down. Then I'm just going to bring down my 4. I'm going to multiply. Then I'm going to subtract my 9. And my squared. I'm going to look, I have no more parentheses. I'm all done with that. So my next step is going to be looking for my exponents. I have an exponent right here. I have 9 squared. I'm going to pull up my calculator. I'm going to say 9 times 9 because it's telling me to multiply 9 2 times. And that answer happens to be 81. So I'm going to replace the 9 squared with the number 81 because I've solved that. I'm going to bring down my 19. I'm multiplying and 4. I have no more exponents left, so I'm going to cross that off. I do have a multiplication problem though. That's my next step. I'm going to take my 4 times 19. I do not know the answer to that off the top of my head. So let's use the calculator. Times 19. That is the same thing as 76 when you solve it. I'm just doing each individual piece at a time, minus, I'm going to bring down the 81. I'm following those steps. No more multiplication and division. I can cross that off. What I have left though is addition and subtraction. I have 76 minus 81. So 76 minus 81 is a -5. Make sure you write that negative in there because if you leave that out and put the number 5, that's a very different number. So just a 5 would be wrong if you don't have the negative sign included. So right now, we're going to do another worksheet. There's going to be 8 problems. We're going to work on worksheet number 2, and it's going to be problems 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 10 are the problems that you are going to solve for your homework. But the problems are longer. There's more steps because I want us using the order of operations. I want us following the P, the E, the M, D, A, S. So write those down on your sheet. It'll help you to keep track of things. I'm going to look at this first one. We have the parentheses. I have two sets of them, so I have to solve what's in them. Now this first one, there's multiple steps. So I'm going to refer to this order of operations so I know what order to solve inside the parentheses. There's no additional parentheses inside the parentheses, but there is an exponent. And that exponent is 3 squared. I know that 3 times 3 is the same thing as 9. And then I'm just going to bring down the rest of the problem. 54 plus, I got my 15. Now I'm going to maintain my parentheses because I still have a lot of information in there. Divided by, I have a negative 3 plus 7. Now I know the answer off the top of my head is a negative 4, or is 4, not a negative 4. The answer is 4. But if I'm not sure, type in 3. Use your plus minus symbol to make that 3 negative. Then we're going to go plus 7. And 4 is the answer. All right. I'm still working on my parentheses piece because I haven't solved it all yet. I've got 15 plus 54 minus 9. There's no multiplication and division. So I'm just going to check that off. But there is addition and subtraction inside those parentheses. And remember, if there's addition and subtraction, we go from left to right. So I'm going to start with 15 plus 54. I'm not sure what that is off the top of my head. I'm going to say 15 plus 54 equals 69. And I'm just going to write that down. I'm not going to jump ahead because I might get confused, might do things out of order. Minus 9. And I'm going to divide that by 4. Now I'm almost done inside that set of parentheses. My 4s are starting to look like Y's. I'm going to do 69 minus 9. Well, 69 minus 9 is 60. And I'm going to divide by 4. So now I've got my last problem down. My PEMDAS, we took care of our parentheses. No more exponents, but there is multiplication division left. 60 divided by 4. So I'm going to whip out my calculator. I'm going to go 60 divided by 4. And my answer is 15. So take your time, follow the steps, and it all works out. There's no rush. You guys have a short assignment. We're going to try one last problem before I send you guys off. All right, so here's our last practice problem of the day. We've got a bunch of numbers in parentheses. So we're going to start and see if we can get that solved. Remember, even the stuff in parentheses, we still have to follow the order of operations. So as I look, there's no more parentheses inside the parentheses, right? How about over here? Nope, no extra sets. So I'm going to just start with this one. And I'm going to do a negative 1 plus 3 is 2. And you can always check that on your calculator. Remember, you're going to type in a 1, use that plus minus to make it negative, plus 3, and your answer is 2. I'm going to take that and divide. Now this set of parentheses is going to take a little bit more to solve. We're going to follow our order of operations. So there's no more parentheses inside there, but there is an exponent. Our exponent is 3 squared, which is 9. Same thing as 3 times 3 minus, and then I've got my 24. And I have plus, and then I've got a 13. Now that still is in parentheses because I'm not done solving my inside parentheses yet, but I am done with my exponents inside my parentheses. My next step, I'm going to look, do I have any multiplication and division? I don't. No multiplication, division inside the parentheses. But I do have addition and subtraction. I happen to have them both. Both are equal, remember. So we're going to run from left to right when we solve them. So when I go left to right, I'm going to start with 13 plus 24. And I'm going to write it out, plus 24. And that's 37. 37. I'm going to write out minus 9 because this is going to help me to keep from getting my numbers mixed up. It's going to help me to not miss a step. Now I'm almost done solving inside those parentheses. I have 37 minus 9 is my last problem inside the parentheses. And let's see here, I'm going to go 37 minus 9 is 28. All right, we've got our 28. I'm going to bring down my divided by 2. And there we go. I finally got rid of my parentheses. I don't have any more exponents to deal with. I do have division though. So my last problem is 28 divided by 2. And I happen to know that that is going to be a 14. I can double check my answer. Let's say I thought, oh, I'm pretty sure it's 14, but let me check it out. 28 divided by 2 and 14 was the answer. So I took my time, I wrote down each step, and remember, even inside the parentheses, we're going to follow the order of operations to help us get to that next step, to get to that right answer. All right, so here we go. We're taking a look. We went through all of our problems. So on your worksheet today, you're going to have 8 problems. Remember, it's going to be problems 1, 2, or not 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 10 are the problems you're going to solve for tomorrow, for today's homework. Tomorrow being Friday, we are going to do another Kahoot Friday, and we're going to do order of operations. So make sure you have a piece of paper handy to help you solve those problems as we play Kahoot. And if you have any questions, as always, if you're in second hour, come join the Google Meet at 10:30 a.m. If you're in fifth hour, come join the Google Meet at 2:15. And I'd be more than happy to answer any questions that you have and help you out during that time. And remember, you do get 1 extra credit point every day that you show up. So we'll see you then. Bye-bye.